So how do you take the racket back? There's two main flavors of taking the racket back. There's the WTA forehand and the ATP forehand. WTA, Women's Tennis Association, ATP, Association of Tennis Professionals. The men. You might say, why aren't they called the MTA instead of the ATP? Well, MTA, the Metropolitan Transit Authority? No, I don't think so. Anyway, there's some controversy as to whether the WTA forehand is like not as good as the ATP forehand. The men hit with ATP forehand, therefore it must be better, say some people. Men usually. And the women say there's no such thing as a WTA forehand because you're saying it's inferior, so there is no such thing. Well, that's reaction. That's just reaction. That's emotional reaction. If you look at history, you'll see that if you go back in time, Bjorn Borg, who was one of the best players of all time and only didn't have a huge amount of majors because he retired at 26, I think, he had a WTA forehand. So the WTA forehand is not a women's forehand. It's an outstanding forehand that won him a whole bunch of matches, tournaments. So it's a great forehand, WTA forehand. It has some benefits over the ATP forehand. It's easier to learn. It's probably easier on the body. On the other hand, the ATP forehand has the benefit of that it's quicker to ball contact, shorter swing, quicker to contact, and probably the men use it more than the WTA forehand because they're hitting against people who can hit the ball harder. Men are bigger, more muscles, testosterone. They hit the ball harder than women. I mean, some women hit the ball very hard, but in terms of apples to apples comparison, men will be able to hit the ball harder generally. And so you got to get quicker to contact, and so I think that's why the men typically do ATP. I might be wrong. I'm not a pro. That's my opinion.